Hello everyone and welcome to Club Deck Corner here on Club Act 22, the Rangers podcast. This week Rangers returned to Ibrox and did so with a win over Dundee to ironically seal a trip back to Hampden. I am Scott Carney and first of all just a bit of housekeeping regarding the podcast. After careful consideration we've made the difficult decision to discontinue our Patreon campaign. While we appreciate the support we received, we found it increasingly challenging to maintain the level of content we believe is necessary to justify the subscription cost. There are a number of contributing factors, both collectively and individually, but ultimately our format on Patreon was not sustainable. We want to express our sincere gratitude to everyone who's been part of our Patreon community. Your support has meant a lot to us. Going forward, we will continue to create content on YouTube. There is no doubt about that. We are very much back on YouTube now, but the format will be pretty similar to what it was before we launched Patreon. Hello, Ryan's cat. Very, very good timing. And I'll finish by saying the only true failure is not trying. So introducing my esteemed, I always go to say guests. You're not really guests anymore. Joining me tonight in Club Deck Corner, first of all, is Ryan Haymarch. Ryan, how are you?
I'm good, and so is Kieran Dow, who just went across the back of the couch. The eternal joke there. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Work. We'll talk about it. No, we won't. And
No, we won't.
just looking forward to the Rangers playing on Thursday, which we'll probably get into at some point. I just want to touch. I know but you said before we started recording, you just wanted to read a wee statement about Patreon. I just want to say my own wee bit on it, Carney. I don't feel upset or kind of angry that it didn't work out for us in Patreon. I'm just proud that we tried it. I really am, because it's such a hard thing to do. I knew when we had the meeting about it, the proposal, I thought, geez, this is going to be huge. But you know what? We were so ready to do it. We had to give it a go. It was one of those, like, if we don't give it a go now, when are we actually going to give Patreon a go? And then you can understand the demands of it. And the most important thing of all is the listeners and the subscribers who have supported us through thick and thin. They deserve like a high level of content, and I think we were given it, but it's just sustaining that, as you said in the statement or that you've read out, it wasn't going to be fulfillable for us. So I think it's the right decision. We all do that. We've come back over to YouTube, and no, I'm just proud that we tried it, mate. And I think we put out some really good posts. I think anyone that moved over to Patreon with us would echo that, and I'm looking forward to seeing the kind of feedback on that. But long story short, I'm good and I'm proud of this podcast. So there you go.
Yeah, me too, mate. I am, and I don't want to dwell on it too much. A lot of things have happened, really, since we decided to launch the podcast. My missus remarkably told me she was pregnant again. And I'm like,
how did this happen?
Yes, perfect timing. Yes, absolutely perfect timing. And there's different things in our personal lives. We all do full-time jobs. I'm not making excuses. I'm generally not. But the last thing that I wanted was to get where the content was going out wasn't enjoyable, two, wasn't of a satisfactory standard, and three, not really justifying what we expect to put out and what we expect to give our amazing, unbelievable supporters podcast. And I started to lose a wee bit of reasoning on why I was doing it, I think. And at points I was like, I'm not really enjoying this. And I've always said I would never let it get like that. The content we would do on YouTube and the way that we ran it on YouTube was working. It was working. I was a wee bit cautious of it becoming kind of stagnating a little bit, and we weren't doing new things. However, in saying that, the stuff that we did do on Patreon, I'm still like, we've got a lot of content to add in to the YouTube, if you like. We'll be able to get more out of that way, and we will do when the time is right and when everybody's got the time. There's just so much going on in life. But I echo it, mate. I'm proud that we gave it the best possible shot that we could, and we admitted defeat before we had got to the point of no return, if that makes sense. By the time that we'd kind of lost the soul of it, really, if that makes sense. We tried it, it didn't quite work. Who knows what the future will hold? But we are very much back on YouTube, and we are very happy to be back on YouTube as well. That's the thing. It is good to bring everything back over to where we originally started. But yeah, without everybody's support, we wouldn't have been possible, and without everybody's support, we wouldn't have the chance to even attempt it. So again, as always, the thanks goes to the people that tune in and support this podcast, because usually the ones that make this podcast, it isn't us, it's you guys. So yes, and look, as well, another thing, mate, the launch of the Patreon has brought fresh faces onto the podcast, as I welcome Ross. Ross is probably sitting watching this going, is he going to talk to me anytime in it soon? Ross, how are you doing, mate?
Good evening, gents. Good to be on. Yeah, no, likewise, echo everything you say. Just as I feel the pride more than anything for the pod and taking on these new ventures. Um, I'm very lucky to even be here just for a short period of time so far, and already I just get a wee bit of a glimpse of what you see in terms of the support. It's truly one of the best out there for not just Rangers podcast, but from podcasts I've seen. So echo everything you boys say, but. We're back, mate. We're back. Europa League Thursdays. It feels wrong to not be singing the John Lundstram song by now. We need to try and find a replacement for it. But now we're back and excited to talk about Rangers things as always.
One thing as well you've got to look forward to, Ross, now that you've graduated to the podcast group chat, mate, you will hear Ryan's rendition of the Europa League anthem, which is legendary, mate. It is legendary.
Well,
It's not Europa League Thursdays until Ryan puts that in the group chat, and we all eagerly anticipate it. Is that not correct, Ryan?
yes, it will be in the post, and if it's not in the post on Thursday morning, I'll be kindly prompted by probably Mr. Pearson or Mr. Carney to send it over. Sometimes I'm a wee bit busy in the mornings, but I will send it over on Thursday, and all I shall say is strap yourself in.
Strap yourself in, it is brilliant. Just a final thing before we move away from Patreon, we were running a competition there, and it was for a tour of Ibrox for 4 people. Kenny Moffat was the person who won the random draw that I done before we moved fully off Patreon. Kenny, I have sent you an email. Please check it. Reply to me, mate, and we'll sort out the details. But congratulations and thank you very much to the Rangers Charity Foundation, who will still be getting a donation from me at the end of this month, and I will put it up on the channel so everybody can see that it happens, or on our socials and whatever else. So thank you very much to them. Congratulations, Kenny. Right, Rangers stuff. We will start with a 3-0 win over Dundee with our return to Ibrox. 2 goals from Dessers and a Tavernier penalty secured us a trip back to Hampden, of all places. Ryan, your overall thoughts on the game? It was routine almost, I think you can say.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a bit of Jekyll and Hyde. In the first half, I was just like, I thought, I'm not seeing this. This is it. I can feel it. And I'm speaking to the boys around about me. I'm like, is it me? Am I not seeing it? And they're like, that was brutal. And then I'm texting the chat and I'm going, this is brutal. This is tough watch. And I think it was down to his team selection, mate. I don't think he got his team selection right in terms of having Sterling in there. Sterling looks a wee bit kind of off it just now. Whether that's I don't know whether his motivation is not there because he's playing a kind of bit part or whatever. I don't know, but he just looks off it a wee bit. They look too defensive. Dundee, for me, played some decent passing, some decent football. I was quite impressed with a couple of their players, like that Tiffany boy, whatever you call him. I thought they played some decent football and they made it hard for us. Rangers deserved a lead though, but I just thought it was a hard watch in the first half once he changed it up. And Sterling come off for Diamande. Yes,
Diamande.
it was. Who played further up the pitch. It opened up the midfield for me and a breath of fresh air. It's not the first time I've seen it from Clement's team. And I will give him credit for this, as there is a kind of relentless of let's attack, let's get another goal. There is not a overpass it happening. They are literally trying their best to, and the quality's not there sometimes and the finish isn't there, but they're trying their best to get another goal constantly, which I love to see. And it'll keep me. I was in my seat to 89 minutes, Carly. That's how good they were playing. So, which is a long time for me. I'm usually up the road a bit earlier than that, but they played well. I really did think they played well in the second half. They were good for it, and the left back's no bad, mate. The left back is no bad. I'm hoping Ridvan's not watching this, but he's no bad.
We'll come on to individuals, mate. Yeah, I think the first half was a bit of I felt the same. I thought it was a bit of a tough watch. I really did. I think the less than ideal turnout as well doesn't help matters. That one stand being closed, I think there was a certain element of a buzz around it, but maybe not what people were maybe expecting. But in the first half, I thought the same. I thought, God, we're making a bit tough work of this. Like, we really are making a bit of a slog of it. I wasn't overly impressed with what I was seeing in the first half. The second half, whisper to everybody, I left at 70 minutes because I had a prior engagement to go to. So I seen all 3 goals, which I was delighted about, but going by what I've watched back, we started to play really good football after the third goal as well. Some really nice bits of play. Players coming off the bench and making a real impact, which is all signs of progress. It really is. it's getting there. It's just not consistent enough yet for anyone, I don't think. Ross, what was your overall take on the game on Saturday?
Yeah, like first half, admittedly, was a bit of a tough watch. Like again, echo what Ryan's saying. Dundee had some good players, some good sparks at times. Butland as well pulled off a few cracking saves, which is not something you want to be saying, but give him credit when he does. But especially the second half, I kind of came away feeling it more almost talking about the team performance rather than individuals. I think the last few weeks we've been speaking about maybe Barron or Igamani who, were good in the game, but I think you come away from the game and thinking, as a team we're actually, seeing again that's progression. It isn't yet consistent as you say, but it's another building block on Dundee United last week. There's getting there, and hopefully we can build on it again on Thursday night. So overall, mate, it's first game back at Ibrox. Again, the turnout it's a tricky one, but I think from what we've seen, there's been mixed reaction on the disabled viewing. Some of the stuff looks cracking. It does look great, and it's good to obviously have fans safely in their seats. But no, overall, mate, a Saturday well spent at Ibrox.
Yeah, I think going on the stadium, I thought the finish of it looks brilliant. It really does. Obviously, I've not been over to see it from that exact side. I think you can take a picture of anything and make it look bad. I've not heard reports of anybody directly sitting there to see what it was like. But I thought the finish looked good. You almost didn't notice it had happened, if that makes sense. Like the stadium, it didn't look that much different. Which is credit to them. I suppose the design of it's really good, and it'll be good to see. Good to see Ibrox full again going forward. Ryan, you mentioned the starting 11. I think it's pretty crucial to start with that as well, or to speak about that even. When I seen the initial lineup, I was like, why have we went out, signed our number 10, we're playing him on the left-hand side? Why are we doing this? Why are we being so bloody Rangers about things? And that's the way it felt to me. Don't get me wrong, his first time ball in for Desser's goal, arguably the goal of the game. I thought it was a tremendous move. Quick first ball. Desser's finish is class, and you can't take that away from him. The way he runs onto it and controls it to put it into the back of the net, keeping it at absolutely zero chance. So it made me eat my words slightly, just a little bit, I would say. But I still don't think he was that effective on the left-hand side. And I know he's still getting there, but ultimately the guy's a 10, mate. Can we just play him where he's meant to play, please?
He likes Lawrence, mate. I've said this.
He does. Yeah,
he likes him. He does. And when you see Lawrence's part in that goal, which is just receiving the ball from Yefty, I believe it was, and just plays the ball down the line, plays the ball into Barjani. Was it Barjani we're pronouncing him as? I think you can sometimes see it with Lawrence. He is that kind of player who plays his back to goal and just makes a one-touch passing, but he likes him. I don't think you're going to see a change for that. I don't think you're going to see him. He's quite stubborn, Clement. He sticks with his players and that's it. Tavernier can do whatever he likes. He will play every single game end of. And he's got his players that he's never really kind of fancied Sterling, I don't think. He's got Lawrence as a 10. He's stuck with Dessers even through the criticism last season. He's thought, that's my striker. So I think when he's got his man, he's got his man. So I'm expecting this to be his position. I'm expecting this 10. And whether this is his identity, I don't know, because we were talking about Kearney on Saturday. A couple of guys round about me, and I think he wants this left-footed player on the right-hand side to come in and link up with play. And maybe that's what you will see, and maybe that's what will kill off the deep crosses that I criticised this team for previously. So these wee things that we're talking about are steps that Clement is putting his imprint in this team and starting to show this identity that I've criticised him for. So, yeah, I am with you. I think Barjani looks a 10 for me. But when you see a delivery like that and a finish from Dessers, can we criticise it? Probably not. And then it's scar tissue for me because see when the play come down the left hand side, I was like, that's great play for Rangers. But in the back of my head, I'm like, we won't do anything. And the ball come across to Dessers, like, he won't finish it. And then when he scored it, I was like, fucking hell, that was really good football. What the hell was that? And this is it. This is where it's shutting me up. The likes of me who'll criticise the team for everything. I like when that happens. That was a really, really good team goal. And it wasn't against the likes of Ross County. Dundee, again, I'm going to give them credit. and that'll be the last time we're doing this podcast. Played decent on Saturday, and Rangers played some really nice football. I echo what you said, some really nice football, and Barjani, for me, I think will remain out on that left-hand side, Carney.
I hope not. Honestly, I do. I hope not. I think there's too much square pegs, round hole stuff for me going on, and I think it would be a kind of disservice to Cortez, because I think he deserves a chance. I really do. I know he's still young, yeah, but if we're going to end up in a situation with, and again, it's all hypothetical. I do understand that. He's going to become accustomed to playing on the left for Rangers. Lawrence is going to run out of gas pretty soon. And I generally mean that. I don't think he's got much left in the tank before he needs a rest. Because you can physically see it in him, I think. But then going to move Barjami back to the 10. He's going to take a bit of time to settle into there as well. It's all a bit clunky and messy when you're just like, can we just play guys where they're meant to play and why we've signed them? It's a bizarre one for me. It really is. I genuinely hope you're wrong, mate. I really do. I hope you are wrong. I'm not saying that Lawrence can't contribute, because Lawrence can contribute. 100% he can. He can make an impact. He can make an impact off the bench. He can start games even when players need rotated or whatever else. But for me, Barami has to be playing as the 10. It's really as simple as that. And yes, look, egg on face a little bit in terms of the cross and the goal. 100%, I'll put that up there and say yes. But can we not just have him run at the 10 and see what he's all about at the 10?
Do you think it'll be dependent on the fitness of Oscar Cortez? That he
Very
might
possibly,
play,
yeah.
And then you might see. What are we calling this, boy? Is it Barami, Barjami? I might be all over.
Barami.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
I had my Rangers da moment there, Barami. So
I might be wrong, but I'm going with Barami. Yeah, is what I'm saying.
We know who it is, and he will correct us in the comments.
It reminds me of the movie Inglourious Bastards, when Lieutenant Aldo Rain, Brad Pitt's trying to say Gorlami. That's what it sounds like when everybody's trying to say Barami. For me, that's literally what it sounds like.
Every time.
I know. Ross, what's your thoughts? Should he be playing in the 10? Are Ryan and I know I ask you this every week, mate, but it's good to have a reference point. Are Ryan and I just being Rangers dads?
No, not at all. I completely agree. I think Ryan makes a good point. I do see potentially it being maybe a temporary position, in the hopes that when Cortez is back fit, I think Clement's made quite clear that he's one for the future. Could that then move Barami into Cam or number 10 on a more, I guess, permanent basis? I'm hoping so, because I'm not gonna lie, lads, there was times at the weekend and you take a blink and you see a left winger, number 14, Ryan Kent flashbacks all over again, and you're like, come on, just let's move on. So no, I'd love to see him in the 10, and I'm hoping that even a game on Sunday could be an opportunity against playing at the weekend. Could be try him there, could be as a ways we can maybe make rotation. Obviously not make the, I guess, big calls for Thursday night. Let's play him in the wing, but let's try something different, because you're right, we're going to shoehorn players into square pegs and round holes. So I'm hoping that it's a temporary thing. I think Cortez can hopefully nail down that left wing, so it means that you don't need to think about having to put him out wide. But it's always going to happen with Rangers, in it. There's a simple solution, and Rangers will do the most Rangers thing and not do it.
Clements, I don't think once I've got the starting lineup correct for under Clement. I don't think I've been right. There's always been something where I've went, where like Dow at right wing, where did that come from? Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, not ideal. And I think, to be honest, I'm not writing the guy off. Czerny, for me, still got a bit of impressing to do. I didn't think he was very impressive on Saturday at all. I think he really needs to buck up his ideas a little bit and show why he's been brought to the club and why there was a bit of hype around him. Because right now I'm not really seeing it. Early days, yes, but I still am not really seeing it. But a man that I am seeing it in, Ryan, is Jeff Day. I'm very impressed with him. Very impressed. There is nothing that he's doing that I can really disagree with. I think he's brave. He looks like he's got confidence of abundance in his own ability. I think you can see that he's willing to develop. He's willing to take on different roles, different ideas, different things that Clement wants them to do. But consistently, mate, he links up play. He breaks up play. He moves the ball forward. He's got pace. The one point, the speed that I seen on him at one point to get at the overlap, I was like, that's impressive. There's everything about this boy right now where I'm going, that jersey is his. And I know that kills you because we Red Van, mate, I know that kills you, but credit where it's due. The boy has made a right impact. Him and Barron now are the two that are really standing out from the summer signings.
Have we got a signing? Finally, have we got a signing right? It looks like it. It certainly looks like it. It's funny, mate. I'm going to dig, if he continues his form, I'm going to dig out the voice notes from when you boys were over at, who did we play in Germany?
Don't do that. Union Berlin. No, don't do that.
Union Berlin. I'm going to dig out the voice notes. Probably won't put them on social media.
No, definitely don't do that. No.
Probably best kept for our next night out.
You're giving me a red face, mate, thinking about it. Please don't do that.
They're brilliant. They're absolutely, do you know, yours is the worst. Ali's is the best. Ali's is the absolute best. But anyway, we'll look as if we've got a signing, Carney. He's settled in. He's a typical write him off. He's rotten. He's just come into this country. He's red rotten. We've all written him off. What is this guy? Can't defend. Can't attack. He's fish out of water. Boom. He's settled in. That's him. That's him. He's been to IKEA. He's a step ahead of proper. He's got his kitchen picked. Competent on the ball. Goes for the ball. Demands the ball. Drives with the ball. Tackles. He just looks as if he's a full package. If he loses the ball, he wants to go and win it again. He's a breath of fresh air on that left-hand side, and I did text the group chat and I said probably a bit harsh on Dessers because I thought Dessers played well, but Yefty for me stuck out. I just thought there was just something different about him. He gave us this kind of identity on the left-hand side where if that keeps going, then is it going to be Barami or Bajami? I need to decide on what he's called. It's really annoying.
Just say Gorlami. Say it like Aldo Rain, mate, and you'll be fine.
I know. I need to grow a tash and shave the rest of the beard off to do that, though. Not that I'm a patch on Brad Pitt, but whatever. It's just giving us identity down this left-hand side, and I think Yefty is the main reason behind that because he's just a breath of fresh air. I love Yilmaz. He gives you something completely different to what we had with back past Borna. But then to touch on what Ross said, I'm starting to see why Ryan Kent was so poor at times because he had Borna behind him. I mean, imagine look behind you and going like that, he's just going to pass the ball back. You know, Ryan Kent was hung out to dry at times with Borna Barisic, but now you see a left back, what a left back should be like, and that the way he attacks against teams like this. I don't expect him to do this against Celtic or in the Europa League as much, but he just looks a proper player. And if he continues that form, you have no concerns in at left back, and Red Van will not get back in the team.
No, he won't. And it's ironic that probably one of the two of the best signings we made so far in the summer can't play on Thursday, mate, but we'll come on to that. That's brilliant, isn't it? That is very Rangers. That is very, very Rangers. Ross, I want to talk about the forward position. I think it's always going to rear its head. Dessers scores 2 goals. I think both goals. The first one, he reacts pretty well. Whether how much he means it or not doesn't matter. He scores. He's in the right place at the right time. And he puts the ball in the back of the net for the first one. Second one, cracking finish. The first half, I found him very frustrating. Not going to lie, but he was still creating chances. He was being very Dessers about things, but he has that side of his game, and then he has wee bits of flashes of good. Ultimately, Aganam comes on, makes a pretty good impression yet again. Unlucky not to score. I think he's got 2 chances that he probably feel quite unlucky that he didn't score by, the header and the one that just went by the post. I think that was particularly unlucky for him not to get a goal there. But you can't kick a guy out the teammate that's scoring goals. In my opinion, you can't do it. I don't think it's right. The guy is scoring goals. Dessers is scoring goals. There is no doubt about it. I think for right now, until Dessers' form really slumps, whether fans want to hear it or not, Dessers is going to remain as their number 9. But your thoughts on that, and obviously Aganam coming on, Aganami. See, that's another one, Aganam or Aganami, no idea.
I know. I swear there was a video they done previously of how to pronounce a player's name. Need to get that. 100%.
Tag me.
I know. But no, look, I think Dessers, he's so frustrated. He's so frustrated as a fan, even from the way that he speaks in a press conference. You can't help but love the guy. He seems like a decent bloke. You're right. He's producing on the pitch. if there's one thing I could ask to take away from his game is just sometimes he looks for the foul occasionally too much. Like
Not
there's
not sometimes, all the bloody time, mate. It's okay, you can say it all the time. That's one of the things that frustrates the life out of me with him.
the handbrake is off. I'll keep that in mind. I know. But he's. I think he will be our number 9 going forward, and it does, in a way. I'm not feeling too. Famous last words. Watch him get injured. I'm not feeling too fear about him and Igamani up front for the Europa League now. If Danilo not being in the squad, so yeah, I think he's in terms of in front of goal. He seems to be doing everything right, but it goes back to the same narrative, mate. Until he does it in these big games, I think fans will always have the kind of scepticals about him. But he take nothing away from him. For me, he'll start 100% on Thursday. On Igamani, I'm not gonna lie, lads. He's exciting. He's good. He looks good. I think if we can hopefully get him some minutes on Thursday to kind of give him that experience of, that'll obviously be his biggest game for Rangers so far. But again, I think we need to start bending him in sooner. Yeah, I was hoping to get a half out of him at the weekend. So again, it's very early. I know he's only had a few games for the club, but I want to see him sooner. I want to see him start. Potentially Hibs at the weekend could be a game for that, but it's a good dilemma to be in. It's a good headache to have. But I think at the moment Dessers leads the line, but not too long. I think it'll be him and Igamani who will be scratching some heads of who to start.
I think there's just always going to be the clamour for it because people have their opinions made up on Dessers, and I'm probably one of the same. I don't see him as a long-term solution because he still has the moments in the game that absolutely drives you up the wall. However, he is still scoring goals, and I'm kind of battling with my own head about him because I am seeing what Iganam's bringing to the team, and I'm going, God, he looks exciting. He looks ready to go. Looks strong as well. And he looks like something completely different from Dessers. And Ryan, is that what it is? Is it because he is completely different from Dessers that there's this urge for us to fall in love with someone that's hardly really kicked a ball for us, considering what Dessers is doing? Look, I get it. I do get it, but for me, you can't kick a guy at the team that's scoring goals. You just can't do that.
No, I think the obvious thing is the physicality. I think it's very visual that he's so much more physical than Dessers is. It's probably the weakest part of Dessers' game is the holding the play up and also the constant going to deck. He seems to like going to deck a lot and looking for the fouls. You boys say it really annoys me because he's stronger than that. He is better than he shows.
Yeah, definitely.
At that, but the Igaman shows this physicality as soon as he comes on, and he looks as if he wants to press and run the lines and put defenders under pressure. He looks as if he wants to get involved in the physical side of the game. That's right up our street. As fans be like, I'll play him. We don't care if he can score goals. He'll press the ball like a maniac, so get him on. So that is definitely the obvious part. Can you drop Dessers? Absolutely not, mate. He's won me over. I never ever thought I'd say it. He's won me over. I enjoy watching him. I enjoy every time I hear that goal scorer for Rangers.
Well, he has improved though as well. Like he definitely has improved. Like there's no doubt.
There is. He's definitely improved his game, and for me, I'm giving him credit again. For me, that's Clement. I think Clement's probably took him aside and said, "Listen, I'm backing you. You're my striker. I'm not going into the market or I'm going to buy Shankland or whoever else. You're my striker. You've done it, but I need you to improve on this side of the game. This is how I want to play." And you can see he has tried to do it, like change his game a bit. He does do a lot more running. I remember watching him at Ibrox a few times moaning. He would go to press the ball, then just kind of give up after the ball was passed and shout at the player behind him. He doesn't do that anymore. He knows he's part of a team. He knows he's a lone striker, despite not really looking as if that's the type of striker he is. But I agree. He's changed his game. He's won me over, and you can't take a player out that's scoring goals. I wouldn't rest Dessers in lesser games just now, because I would want him to keep that momentum up of goal scoring. I think he went up to Tavernier at the weekend and tried to take the penalty off him. I love that. I hope he's breathing down Tavernier's neck, going like, "You missed that, I'm on the next one," because that's a hungry striker, and it's somebody who, and He's dangerous just now. And again, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I love saying it because he's had the sarcastic cheer. He's had the cheer off the park and the abuse, and he's just turned it round. I think he's a fan's favourite now. I think people genuinely like Dessers now, and he's always capable of having that the old Dessers game. But overall, mate, what's that? 7 goals, is it? Something like that. You can't be sniffing at that. He's started the season on fire.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and I completely agree, mate. I do, I agree. I think he'll be winning a lot of people over now, and ultimately, if the guy's scoring goals, you can't break up the momentum that he's currently got, and more of the same. So a welcomed return to winning ways at Ibrox as we return to Ibrox for Rangers, and it sets us up with the semi-final against Motherwell, which will be played on Sunday, November 3rd at 3 p.m. at Hampden. Let's see, bizarre. And what are the chances of the first game back, meaning we have to go back to Hampden? Anyway, we'll preview that obviously closer to the time. We'll move on to matters off the park before we come back to matters on. John Gilligan spoke for the first time to the press as interim chairman, the interim chairman. A few things from it. He said he's committed to bringing stability and leadership to the club during a kind of transitional period. The club is focused on rebuilding and creating a successful future. There is a recognition of the challenges faced by the club, but he also a belief that it has potential for success. The club is open to investment from suitable sources as well as existing investors already. The current manager has the full backing of the board, and the club is actively working to improve its financial situation and competitiveness by being where we want to be in Europe. Ryan, there was no groundbreaking comments made by John Gilligan, I don't think. I think it was a positive, and I'll start with the positive, that he decided that he was going to sit down in front of the press and do it. I thought, fair play to you. There's many come before you that didn't do that, so fair play to you for wanting to do that. I think that's a nod to the failures of the board previously, that he's went, right, well, I'm going to sit down and take what they're going to give me. My biggest concern was the question that was asked by, I think it was David Edgar from Heart and Hand, where he asked about, do the club recognise that they've made wrong decisions with the club, and it's led us to where we are now, and he kind of fluffed around it a little bit. Also, the comments made around Dave King and the board, clearly the EGM won't happen because the current board don't feel like there's a need for change. That's a wee bit red flag for me. I'm not going to lie. I'm going, can he see that we need some form of change of direction? I think that's pretty crucial that we do. Ultimately, though, mate, I think the CEO appointment has to come in, and a phrase that Ross has already used tonight, the handbrake for him has to be fully off, and he has to be very brave in making the decisions that he's going to make going forward for this football club, because we're in dire need, in my opinion, still of direction.
Aye, I'm just checking myself. We're on YouTube. Not going to give them content because, as you know, I could go and meltdown about this. This is something I've been banging the drum about for, I don't know, must be about a year now. I think it's about a year now. I've been worried about what's going on off the park, the direction the club's going, the leadership, hearing whispers. I'm friends with somebody who is very close to somebody in the board. We've had arguments about this, so many discussions about board members and blah, blah, blah. And yes, John Gilligan's done well coming out and speaking. I agree. And fair play to him, hats off for that. He's a Rangers man. There's nobody taking that away from him. But he's a spokesperson for this board who have got it in the neck recently, and rightfully so. And you are spot on when you say David asked him about the kind of failings of the club and the bad decisions. I get the feeling that was a kind of, we've made good and bad decisions, but things aren't too bad. That's what it felt like. It felt like when I watched it this morning, I thought, no, you don't get it. You don't get, if you think that it's just, we made a kind of a boob with the stadium. No, it's not. It's so miles off that, Carney. I can feel myself going the rant here. That the fresh investment. It's not fresh investment. This fresh investment is the current investors paying for the mistakes they've made in terms of poor player trade model, which we've lost millions on, poor managerial appointment, poor decisions on the Copland Road stand and New Edmiston House as well. These have lacked a project manager, and it's cost us, I would imagine, in terms of us playing at Hampden, over £1 million. That's a total guess. I don't know any figure, but I would guess it's cost us a lot of money to do that.
No
and that's
doubt.
because we don't have a project manager in place. And I'm not just pulling wee quotes off Dave King, but he makes so many good points, and you know where my heart lies with that. But it just, the more I watched it, the more it annoyed me. The bad decisions. We have no CEO, we have no chairman at the moment. We've got an interim chairman, but we've no CEO. He said in a dream scenario, we will appoint the CEO for this in December. So the dream scenario is that we've got 7 months without a CEO. It just, the more I watched it, the more I got frustrated, and it's just everything that just epitomises this board. The poor decisions, the lack of leadership, and that's why the fans won't change. And he didn't do anything to convince me that it is going to change. And I hate being that guy. I hate it. It rips my heart out to say it, but I'm just so done with this board, Carney. I'm exhausted with them. And to quote again, Mr. King, we are sleepwalking into this lot, winning title after title at the moment. I just don't see where. Credit to the club, we're taking another direction on the pitch. You can see it with the signing policy, Diamandis and players that we're trying to nourish. I can see the different direction there. Credit to the club there, but we have got so much to do off the park and how we're leading this football club. Things have to change, Garney. If they don't, I think it will get really, really bad. And I hate saying that. I do. Rant over.
Yeah, no, look, there's a lot that you say that I agree with, and look as well. There's a lot that Dave King said that I did agree with, but I still, when John Gillen had his little, not these go back at it, but it's the first time that somebody on the board at Rangers has made a response in public to it after being asked a question about it. He did make the point of, well, fresh investment to come in, and Dave King's not putting the investment forward himself, but he's already a stakeholder in the club. So you're kind of contradicting yourself a little bit there. I'd get that, and I am in agreement that we need to go in a different direction. I agree that not one man should own the club. I still stand by that. That can't afford to happen ever again. That one man has sole ownership of the club, but the way that we're currently going, I can't help but being pulled towards, maybe we are sleepwalking here. Maybe they're not waking up and smelling the roses and seeing what's happening in front of them. And this is why, Ross, that the appointment of the new CEO has to have had experience at a club at least the similar size of Rangers, if not preferably a bigger club than Rangers. Not that there's many of them in the world, but a bigger club than Rangers. Rangers really need to spend money right on the right guy to come in here. It's a great project for a CEO that wants to come in and get quick fixes done, because he will be able to do that quickly. There'll be a lot of quick changes that he can make that he'll buy himself a lot of time with the fans. But we better not be getting, no disrespect to Dumbarton Football Club, the next CEO is the second in command on the board at Dumbarton Football Club. That can't happen. This needs to be correct. The board have to get this appointment correct.
Yeah, 100%. For me, it actually took me probably 2 listens to the press conference to kind of take everything away from it. The first time I was kind of, chuck it on the car and you're like, right, okay. But even when Ryan's rhyming thing off, it's still, there's no real security that the club are on their way back to where it should be. And obviously I know there's still positions to be filled, but we can only take what we're given just now, and what we're hearing isn't exactly what we're after. The board have such a need to remember who we are. We're Rangers, for goodness sake. Like, the fact we're in this position is just a bit unbelievable in itself. But if we make any more mistakes, boys, I don't even want to think about it. But again, we only take what we're given. There's not much, I guess, positivity coming from it. The Dave King stuff, it just, I don't know, it baffles me a wee bit. It's for somebody who, as the highest stakeholder in the club, you'd think there'd maybe a wee bit of a filter on it. There wasn't for me, and it's almost like, schoolyard back and forth sort of stuff. It's it's not a good look for us, and you can include all the matters in it. It's not a good look at all. But business needs to be done. It needs to be done quickly, and quicker ideally than December. Yeah, as soon as I heard that, I was like, that's gonna ruffle a few feathers, and take one look at Twitter and you'll see it has. So it's a huge task. One that hopefully Gilligan and the team can make the right. Obviously they're going through a proper recruitment system, they're shortlisting whatever. But you're right, it just needs to be somebody who also has the business head, but has a football head as well, and has not only an eye for the game, but an eye for what it means to be the chairman, the CEO of Rangers, and the expectations that come with it. So it's such a frustrating one, because in a week like this week that we're going into Europa League, you're looking forward to it, but yet all the conversation is still off the pitch, and not in any more positive light than it was a few weeks ago. So yeah, it's just a case of kind of waiting out and see what happens, but change needs to be made quick, mate.
Yeah, you're spot on, mate. The lead up to the first Europa League time, you've got to spend time talking about matters that are off the pitch. And yes, mate.
Can I just say one more thing about Ross was just saying about the shortlist and whatever? This is another thing. You shouldn't have started me. You should have started me up. You know what I'm like. I just run with it. Yeah, the reports were that you make a good point about we need to get the right guy in terms of his credentials of what kind of company or football club that he's been the CEO of before, or where he's had experience. So we've had that Jim Gillespie reject us. Apparently, reports are that he rejected us, and he's St Mirren. If he has rejected us, are we now? Is the plan as John put it, now to revert back to the shortlist of which a St Mirren CEO was the top of?
I think do you want my honest opinion on it? And I don't know this for sure. My honest opinion is we put the eggs in the basket of Jim Gillespie, expecting him to say yes. There was no contingency plan, because this board are not renowned for contingency plans. Hence why we now have a recruitment agency and whatever else involved to get it sorted, and why we are being quoted December for it. This is another failing of the board. This should not be taking this long to get the correct person for the job. It just shouldn't. It should not take anywhere near as long as it is. So my honest opinion is that I think the board thought Jim Gillespie will do. That's good enough for me. He'll come in. Rumours of him maybe being a Rangers supporter. Fans will get on side with that. No bother, we'll do that. Jim's went, hang on a second, look at the response I'm getting online. Look at this, look at that. Maybe he's went into a full conversation with the board and he's went, no, not for me, I'm not doing that. I don't know, but to me, now that we're getting quoted December for the appointment of a CEO, this is another failing on the board, mate. Yeah.
He's not the first Rangers man to decline a high position at the club, if you think Derek McInnes as well, mate. So it is red flags for me.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Well, I'll leave it there. Look, there's going to be plenty more to come in that, and I think you all know that. It's not something we like to spend too much time on, so we will move back to matters on field, and we will try and build up a bit of excitement as we look ahead to the first match day in the Europa League. Rangers will be playing Malmo on Thursday in Sweden, and Malmo are currently 11 points clear at the top of the Swedish league. Looks like they're just about to win the league. Have they already? Somebody, I don't know if you want to tell me that. I don't think they have yet. I think they're just about to. Is that right?
I am unsure, but they'll be due to finish, won't they?
I think they're just about to. I don't know, so I could be wrong. Somebody's probably correct me, but but anyway, they're miles ahead at the top of the league. They're coming into the game after a 4-0 win over Hacken at the weekend there. Ryan, they didn't make the Champions League after getting put out by our old foes Sparta Prague, but it's safe to say, mate, that they're arguably probably Champions League level, maybe. I think you could say that they're probably I think they were disappointed the fact that they didn't get into the Champions League. It's going to be quite a tough tie on Thursday, mate.
I hate Scandinavian teams at this time of year, mate. I just always think back to like Gothenburg, what was it, 98, 99, something like that, maybe a bit earlier. I always feel as if they're at the peak of their game and we're just starting to kind of get into gear. It will be a hard game. The last time we played them was that when Cholak played with them, was it? Or am I?
That's right, yeah.
It was, wasn't it? Wasn't great then. So it's going to be a hard game, and we're missing, as you say, our two signings who look like proper signings. We're missing them, which is fantastic. So Sterling is guaranteed a game at some position that he doesn't like, which is another bonus. But it'll be a hard game, Carney. Every game in Europe is a hard game anyway. Let's not kind of feel sorry for ourselves. Every game is a hard game, but this is looking at our group. If we are realistically wanting to do something, this is one of the games I think we need to get 3 points from, Carney, because we have not been blessed with an easy group. And if it comes to the kind of Man United Tottenham games where you don't expect to take 3 points, you'll have to look at the Malmo game to be taking 3 points. So I think we need to. Realistically, I think we need 3 points on Thursday straight off the bat to have a serious opportunity of qualifying, and it'll be difficult. But I'm looking forward to it. I think I've said for weeks to you boys, I don't know if I've said it on the pod, I always have been saying it in the pub and whatever, Rangers need a big result. They need a big result. I can't remember the last time we had a big result, Carney, and I think Clermont needs one as well. Betis possibly, maybe the last one, I'm not sure, but we need a big result and something that makes us think, okay, there is something here. We can do this. We can produce on the big stage, because Thursday is a big stage, mate. There's pressure on this team on Thursday, and it'll be interesting to see how they go. A couple of players will be new to them, but I'm looking forward to it. I just wish we had Yefty and Barron. That is a big loss for us.
Why do we not have Barron? Have I missed this?
I thought you said Barron earlier on. I just dropped him. I've dropped him.
Barron can
over, guys.
Play. Yeah, I had a bit of a worry there. I was like, Barron? I was like, no, Barron.
I've just heard this in my ear. Barron's fit to play, guys. Sorry,
I think Barron's okay.
I got a wee bit of news before the pod. Sorry, I thought he was suspended. Apologies.
Well, obviously, I came straight in for work and get all stuff like sorted and that for the wee man before I come to the pod. And I thought, have I missed something in the last hour and a bit? Like, what's happened there? No, I think Barron's
injured after this now.
It's your fault. That is very much your fault, mate. There's no doubt about it. In fact, it will be your fault.
Yes.
Ross, we don't have a great record against Scandinavian teams, especially away, and against Malmo, especially. We don't have a great record. However, Rangers on a Thursday night tend to be a little bit different, and I do think we're going to need one of them Thursday nights for us to get 3 points. I think it's a tough ask for this team to go there and get 3 points, but the challenge is there in front of them. It's up to them to stand up and be counted.
Thank you. I'll get all those Thursday nights, mate. I'm feeling optimistic for it, and
yes, I don't know. I like to hear.
I know. I don't know if it's.
You'll never do. You'll never do.
No, it's. Like Ryan's spot on. The team in Clermont needs a big one, and referring back to earlier on, saying how we're building, Thursday night would be a right step up, both for the fans. I'm sure the players in the dressing room as well. Need a statement win, and away at Malmo at a team who I don't think they have won the league. I had a wee look there. I don't think they have won it yet, but they're looking sharp, they're looking good. So obviously there's history there. 22 goals. I think it was the last time we were over there. It was the Steve Davis scored in the last minute. So it was a fair while ago. But no, I think the Rangers team will be right up for it. We need to be, because as Ryan says, with the new system, you need as many points as you can. I'm not sure how. How a draw, and obviously because it's a new system, like how a draw would look in the grand scheme of things. But we need points on the board, and with the group that we have, as you say, Malmo's one of the teams that we could snatch something off. So it'll be a big ask, mate. It will be, but as you say, it's something that Rangers are a bit of magic on a Thursday night. John Lundstrom, I know John Lundstrom, but I'm sure when it comes to kick-off, the nerves will sink in, but I'm feeling quietly optimistic, and I just hope that Rangers can produce the goods.
That's what you've got to hope for. Look, it's a tough ask. I think the way this new league format is, it could probably go down to the last game, no doubt, knowing Rangers, and they'll be goals scored, goals against, bookings, corners, whatever it may be, whatever it may fall to, it'll probably end up being odds that you need to be counting how many throw-ins we had in the first three games of the league. But you know what I mean. It's going to be like that. But I think to have a real chance, we need to, at the very minimum, be getting a draw out there on Thursday. I don't think there's absolutely any doubt about it. Ryan, we'll come on to teams and scores, and we'll stop at the left back position. It is unbelievable that Jeffy can't play, considering the way that the red card was as well. Wasn't a red, shouldn't have been sent off. It is as simple as that. Because of the two yellows, you can't do anything about it. An absolute joke. He should never have been sent off, and it leaves us in a bit of a predicament at left back with your Turkish delight also out injured, mate. This is another problem for me, that Sterling was going to play left back. We know he's going to play left back. Everybody knows that that's where he'll start. It's another thing for me where I'm going, Sterling's not impressing me right now because he's getting moved about left, right and centre about where he's playing. Right wing, centre mid, left back, right back, wherever it may be, he's played left wing. There's no settled position for him, and I generally don't think it's fair on him. I think the guy's good. I do think he is good, but I need to be seeing more from him. But ultimately, we're not going to get to see it because on Thursday night, mate, he will start at left back, in my opinion. But you can have your say on that and then give me your team and your score.
Yeah, he will start at left back. I think Sterling, he'll always give you 100%, but you can see that he's, well, we're just guessing, we're surmising as fans, but he looks just unsettled, can't he? He looks unsettled at this bit part player role, and I don't blame him. He came here over a year ago now, and his first interview, press conference, he said, I'm a right back. And they said, will you play at centre half? And he said no, because, well, he said, I'll do it the manager wants, but I am a right back. And I think they kind of laughed and sniggered at him, like, oh, Tavernier's a right back. And he's like, I get that, and he's a brilliant right back. I look up to him, but I am a right back. Since then, he's shown what he can do in midfield, and then he's played at right wing and whatever. He's a good player still, and I really like him. I don't want to lose him. I want to make that clear. I really don't, but I worry that his patience has maybe ran out when he has a game like he had on Saturday, which he wasn't good. That will affect his confidence, and then you're not seeing the best side of him. Sterling needs a run at a position which he is comfortable at, and he's not going to get it. He's not going to get it because they just won't change Tavernier. You know what I feel about that. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out with Sterling this season, because if I was guessing, I would say he would end up moving on. I don't think January, but I think at the end of the season, if this continues, Tavernier's fit, he plays every game, Sterling won't play right back. It's where he wants to play. I personally would like to see him for 10, 15 games at right back to see what he can do with his game. Yes, we've seen him there once or twice, and he doesn't look like that bombing forward wing back that Tavernier can do. But would he develop that? Would he bring that into his game? I don't know. He needs to be given a chance, and I just don't see that happening. So it's frustrating, and I'm frustrated for the boy because I do really like him. He looks up for a battle, and he gave us a shining light in a dark tunnel last season. So, but yeah, he will play left back, mate, and he is my left back, and the rest of them pick themselves. Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Proper, he'll be left back. Barron, newsflash, he is fit. Diamande, Cherney, Lawrence is your 10, Berjami, and C9 up front. And I'm going to go a performance on Thursday, Europa League Thursdays, 2-0 Rangers. Yeah, and I'm going to go Cherney first goal.
Yeah, I'll take it, mate, for sure. I think my team's pretty much the same. I would like to see Barami in the middle, and I'd rather play Cortez on the left from the start. That's the only change that I would make there with the team. And it's no disrespect to Lawrence. I just think we're going to need a bit of legs, a bit of guile, and I think Barami could be that guy. So that's the only change I would make. I think everything else, you're right, pretty much picks the same. I'll go for 2-1 Rangers, and I'll go for a D9 double in the Europa League. Ross, what's your score prediction and your team and your thoughts about Sterling as well, I suppose?
Yeah, Sterling's, I can imagine from him as a player, he must be in such a tricky position, because you're right, his position is the unmovable position of James Tavernier. He'll never move, it seems. And it even makes me think, you think of Benfica in Europe last season, away. He's playing right wing, playing midfield at the weekend, playing left back, on Thursday. He's not really had a chance to cement himself, and if we seriously want to move forward, I do think we need to try him out at right back. And again, I don't want to Tav bash. I don't know how I've turned this into a Tav bashing already, but we do need to try and move away from the tried and tested and go forward. But hopefully he proves me wrong and he has an absolute blinder at left back. But I'm gonna go with Butland, Tav. Actually, the same team. Butland, Tav, Suter, Proper. Yep, Sterling will be full back. I think midfield. I do think Lawrence will be the 10. There's potentially a chance if we're needing legs in the midfield. Do you have a midfield of Barron, Diamande, Raskin? Do you bring Raskin back in to maybe give you that wee bit of energy? Especially if we're away from home, if we are a wee bit on the back foot. If you need somebody defensively to share things up. I know he's not had a lot of minutes, but could potentially be one to throw in there. But again, we know Clement quite likes his, assured, especially after the weekend, players who have played a good amount of minutes to go into the game. And then, I think Barami will be off the left, Tierney off the right, and Dessers up front. Although I'd love to see some minutes for Agamani if we're, is it even a case if we are potentially trailing in the game, do you bring the two of them on, Agamani and Dessers up top, just to go full gung ho at it? Because as we say, we need to be getting points on the board. So it's an opportunity for players to prove themselves, but an opportunity to, more importantly, get Rangers back in the headlines for the Europa League Thursdays. The world know that Rangers on a Thursday night are a different team, and hopefully they go and prove us right. So I'm going 2-1 Rangers, and I'm going to go for Barnes' first goal for the club. He's deserved one. He's been playing well, and I'm starting to get the buzz, but we'll see what happens, gents.
Wait to hear my voice note on Thursday.
You'll not be able to contain yourself. Wherever you are, you'll spontaneously combust. That's how good it will be once Ryan gets his Europa League. One day, Ryan, see the day we win the Europa League, whenever that may be, we might be about 70 odd maybe by the time we get the chance to do that again. We'll play it for the world, mate. We'll still be doing the pod at the time, mate, and we'll play it for the world, right? Everybody will be able to hear it. So everybody, you heard that. Rangers need to win the Europa League, and then you'll hear Ryan's rendition, and it'll go to number one, mate. I'm sure of it, because it's uncanny. It's uncanny. That will do us for tonight. We, of course, will be back on Thursday with a reaction after the game. But for tonight, Ryan, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, mate. Boys, I hope you have a good week. I am going to get head down for the rest of the week. We've got a big one coming up, and looking forward to Thursday. Play up the famous.
Absolutely. And Ross, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, gents. Pleasure as always. It's as much as saying off the pitch field kind of take away the magic of Thursday night, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good. It's this time of year especially, getting back into the swing of things, 2-3 games a week. I'm here for it, and hopefully we can see a Rangers performance that will make us look forward to games going forward. So likewise, mate, hope everyone has a good rest of their week, and I'll steal Ali Pearson's line this evening. It's over to you, Rangers.
Somebody has to, mate. He's right, because Ali stole it from somebody else originally anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it. So yeah, you're just recycling where Ali's recycled it from. But no, I'm the same. I hope we get a real positive result on Thursday, and I will be very much looking forward to it. I know I will, as it starts to build towards it, and I'll be very much looking forward to finishing work on Thursday. Get home, scran Fitba, and hope to see a special night for Rangers in the Europa League. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. We are back on YouTube now. Everything is back on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe, get your notifications turned on. You'll not miss a beat from us when we start to bring as well some of the stuff that we've done on Patreon. We will eventually be bringing over to YouTube as well, so make sure you check that out. I have been Scott Carney. This has been Club Deck Corner, and we are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.